Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Pisces November 2020 Astrology Must Knows. This is a game changer of a month when we look at the perspective of the whole year of 2020. We have multiple factors in this month that are going to really change the course of the experience that we have been having. So I'm just going to give them to you piece by piece and tell you specifically what things Pisces might see from these aspects. So the first thing to know is that Mercury completes its third and final retrograde of the whole year. We've had a storyline of personal planet retrogrades, Mercury, Venus, and Mars being the ones closest to us, that have really set us into this internal and retrospective, sort of in a slower, uncertain experience. That's the nature of the retrogrades. But now, one by one, these planets are starting to shift and move forward. So Mercury, which has been retrograde in the energy of relationships, Scorpio and Libra, also in the houses of relationships for Pisces. Okay, so you guys are getting this a double effect here with Mercury being done with this review process within your relationship space. Romantic relationships, friendships, work relationships, how you are in relationship, period. Anything having to do with you and other people's money, your merging of resources. These are the kinds of topics that have been coming up in a big way. Sometimes the retrograde can bring in sweet things from the past, and sometimes it can bring things in that were still unresolved, that have been unresolved, to move them towards a further state of resolution. Okay, but whatever your storylines that were brought up, it shifts now. November 3rd, Mercury goes direct. This is also Election Day in the United States, and this is definitely going to bring a massive amount of chaos to Election Day, and very likely a contested vote or an uncertainty regarding possible technical issues as to who exactly won the election. So the day that Mercury goes direct and the days around it is a time of just extra confusion, extra uncertainty, extra plan changes, changes in outcomes. So you're going to see that everywhere from the global experience to the national experience to your personal experience. If you've made plans during that time, try not to hang your hat too heavily on those because they're very likely to change. And if you've made a decision about something, in a relationship, you either are going to start to be ready to start implementing some decisions that were made more internally, or you might start to change your mind about the things that you thought were set. One really important must know for this month is that so much more information is coming throughout this month and into December that if you think that you're clear about doing something and you start to feel that surge with Mars going direct mid-month of like, okay, now I'm ready to take action, tune into your intuition to make sure it's time, because there's a very good chance that between the energies moving direct, the planets Jupiter and Saturn moving from Capricorn into a new sign, and the eclipses, that you might get additional or different information that could cause you to change your mind again, either back to, something that it was before, or on something else completely altogether that wasn't even an option at the time that you made the decision, okay? So big must know, if you don't have to make a big decision, wait to gather the information because it is very likely that it is going to come. Pay attention for extra chaos and confusion around the first week of the month. But in general, the energy of Mercury moving through Scorpio is a positive thing for Pisces. But at the beginning of the month, it's gone back into Libra. So the kisses that you're going to get from Mercury making a beautiful aspect to your sign, those aren't going to come until later in the month, okay? And you'll probably be feeling that discomfort around news and communication and information, especially in that first week as a Pisces. Okay, so the second must know is that there is a domination this month of Scorpio energies. There is one, two, or a third planet in Scorpio at any given time this month. And in general for Pisces, this is a positive thing because Scorpio energies make a 120-degree angle with your placement, which is the most favorable in all of astrology. So there are going to be kisses as potentials that can come from this, okay? It's going to be amidst the other confusion and the madness, but just know that that is on your side this month. And we do have that to celebrate as a must know for Pisces. As the planets move into Sagittarius, even though those are not in as great an angle for Pisces, I'm still looking forward to it as having some positive things for Pisces, because the difference between Scorpio energy and Sag energy is a shifting out of high emotion. And as a Pisces energy lives in the realm of high emotion as a water sign. So when these energies start moving into fire, some of that extra emotion might start to shift for you as well. And since Sag is known for being more uplifted and positive and seeing the silver lining, you might also notice that if there's heaviness this month emotionally for you personally or in your environment, that energy may start to shift towards the end of the month as those Sagittarius energies start to take over. Where they will cause a little bit of challenge for Pisces is that it's a mutable energy like yours. It moves in a circle, okay? And this circular energy can be really disorienting and can be really overwhelming, overstimulating. So you're kind of moving, from a time of high emotion to a time of a lot of busyness. Okay, so it doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing. It's just a way that doesn't move as smoothly with your placement without getting you kind of off kilter. So you're basically going to have to work harder to keep your center November and December, and actually we'll just throw in October there too, because that's going to be intense for everybody, but you're going to have to work a little harder to keep your center as the excess water energies move through, even though they're in a nice angle, and as these Sag energies come through and sort of spin you more. Now, hopefully the spinning can be a positive thing, because as I started talking out right from the beginning, this month is going to really crack and open us into change. If you had stagnation in this year, then the likelihood that that's going to start to shift is very, very high, especially towards the end of the month and into December. That cracking of the stagnation can also cause the overstimulation, which again, like I explained, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but you might start doing a bunch of stuff. Social things might be open more. Travel might start to be open more. And as the months go on, the end of November, December, to January, and into next year, those things are very likely going to be opening up in a big way, and you're going to get a taste of that now, and it might be a little bit disorienting for you because you've been in a certain flow of this internal space, which works very well for you, and you're going to crack into more activity and communication. And so you might just have to, breathe a little more and stamp your feet, get grounded, and, that's how you can handle it. But I do see many positive aspects for Pisces sitting in here. Okay, when Mars wakes up in the middle of the month, it's going to move forward, and okay, so referring back now to Mercury. Mercury was really focused on the relationship space, okay? This had to do with reviewing your relationships, going over your finances and your money as far as it relates to like loans and debt and taxes and like family money and inheritances. Now this Mars going direct and waking up is going to add more oomph into your personal financial situation and possibly even your income. When Mars is going retrograde in the second house, as it has been doing for Pisces placements, we'll say like the first half of the sign. So definitely like the February born into like part of the first week of March, you've had a lot of energy in the second house of finances with Mars. And for those of you who are in the latter half of the sign, that has had to do more with you and your physical body and your personal inertia or oomph or ambitions. But you'll start to feel this money wake up as well. It just might take a little bit further into December for your money to start to wake up. But if you're in the first half of the sign, so again, like from the beginning of the sign until like March 5th or so, you'll likely start to feel this money wake up right in the middle of November. And then it will happen for the rest of you. It may just take a little bit longer. And so your incentive to do something about your financial situation, opportunities to improve your finances, spending could increase. And that could be because everything starts waking up, and now some of the things you used to spend money on that you weren't spending money on, you're starting to spend money. So it's going to be very important for you to budget really wisely, because the energy of Aries, which Mars is still moving through, has a lot of connection to like recklessness or impulsivity. So as the world starts to wake up, and as these planets start to wake up in your chart, there's going to, be like a putting on the gas, of like moving forward. And since this has to do with your finances, your income could be increasing, but your spending could also be increasing. And so you want to just kind of watch your lead foot in your spending arenas, okay? Now, Mars isn't going to get its full oomph back until the beginning of January. That's when the post-transit retrograde shadow period passes. But every day after November 14th, you will start to see ambitions return, energy come back, motivation, your drive. If it had gone backwards, you'll notice it starting to move forward again. Okay, so the next piece here has to do with Jupiter and Pluto coming together. This is a very monumental piece of what has been going on in 2020. And if you want to have even more insight about this, look for my video, just search for Annie Botticelli coronavirus, and you'll see how Jupiter connecting with Pluto in Capricorn has been a major instigator of the system breakdowns that we've been having. It seems like it was instigated from the coronavirus, but what really instigated is the astrology, and the coronavirus and the systems breaking down and being revamped are just an effect of the astrological cycles that we're going through. So if you think back to when Jupiter and Pluto connected before last time, it was in like 2008. Okay, so that's when the market started to tumble, and we had the subprime lending markets, and then of course the rest of the financial markets started to tumble. Jupiter and Pluto got together at that time too. It's not a coincidence. This is a trigger for things like this. So this year, April 4th, June 30th, and now on November 12th, this is going to happen again. Now, fortunately for Pisces, this is actually happening in a sweet angle for you all, okay? It doesn't mean that there might not be complications or you might not have negative effects globally and individually from what's going on, but it does make the positive potentials, and it does have positive potentials for everybody. It's not just negative here. But for Pisces placements, it's even more of a chance for positive outcomes because of the nice angle it's making for you. Now, that's true for all Pisces, but there is a division of Pisces that may see even more of a blessing. And this will have to do with, okay, so it's at 22 degrees. So if your placement, and we're talking about moon in Pisces, rising in Pisces, sun in Pisces, any Pisces placement you have, and if you want to see how many more placements in Pisces you might have besides your sun, do a free birth chart. Just search for how to run a free birth chart online, run a free birth chart, look for the symbol that represents Pisces and see if you have other planets in Pisces and see what numbers next to them, what degree they're at. Okay, so if it's between 17 and 27 degrees, the closer to 22 degrees, the more powerful. That is going to be more of a profound effect for anyone with those placements, okay? So even though the cycles have disrupted the financial sectors in all of the systems, the same forces that cracked everything apart can also build new things. So you might see very important things gelling for you with this aspect, and either way, it's the ending of this cycle, of this experience, which has been a very difficult, challenging year for everybody. So we can at least celebrate in that way that we are moving on to the next evolution of the storyline. Okay, and hopefully those of you, especially in that group, may, get some special kisses from this. But hopefully all Pisces will get something nice. But there is going to be an intensity to it, and I'm hoping that the intensity comes from a solution. If you think about each of these aspects, April 4th, June 30th, and now November 12th, as like a story, like a storyline, then this point would be the conclusion, you know, the end of the story, the resolution. Like the first hit brings the conflict, the problem, the second one develops it, then the last one, hopefully it moves into, you know, whatever its next evolution will be. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about has to do with, oh, wait, one more thing. Neptune, your ruler, is going direct. This is important, especially for Pisces. This happens on November 26th. When our ruler is retrograde, it definitely makes us more groggy, more, you know, kind of uncertain and unclear. So you've had that going on besides all of this other uncertainty. So with Neptune moving direct, it can bring more clarity for everybody, but especially for Pisces. And the chance for you to do something with that dreaming, that like feeling space, like taking action on it and doing something tangible with it. All of the things, the astrological aspects are being lined up, including this Neptune going direct, for you to actually be able to take action on and do something with the dreams and the internal insights. Okay, now the next big and possibly biggest noteworthy thing of the month is the eclipse on November 30th. Eclipses bring powerful, life-changing events for many people. And depending on your natal placements, it's hard to gauge this, you'll know if it's striking one of your placements within a notable aspect, because you will be one of the people having profound changes. So eclipses can start to really cook up 4, 6, even 8 weeks before the actual eclipse. So that puts, you know, all of October, all of November in eclipse zone. But the closer we get to the end of November, the energies intensify. And you know, big news, you know, big endings. This is going to be a lunar eclipse. So like a culmination, an ending is likely to come. Now, specifically for Pisces, when we look at 8 degrees of Gemini, so from the perspective of the eclipses, the energy of Gemini is going to be very much in the forefront, because that's what the eclipse is in for everyone in the zodiac. But there's special energy of it for those of you who are born at the beginning of the sign, anywhere through, especially around March 11th, because for you all, it's going to definitely also be in the house of Gemini. Okay, those of you who are late degree placements, so like later in the sign, the last 7 to 10 days, you might see the area of your chart more towards your money and your finances for the eclipse, okay? So that means the late degree placements would have the story of money and your self-sufficiency and your finances and your environmental projects and your sustainability and your budgeting and all of that also be part of this eclipse. But for the rest of you, it's in the sign of Gemini and in the house of Gemini. So it's like doubly Gemini. And what I've seen happen here has to do with your cars, your mobility, your devices, your communication, relatives, usually other than your parents or children. Those are in a different area. So you have to be extra special careful when you're driving, biking, walking, the texting while driving, the, you know, anything that distracts you. Those are things you want to not be doing, especially, you know, at this time, November, December, because it increases the likelihood of something notable with your vehicles. And a lot of times that could, you know, be a problem on the road. Now, you don't have to be afraid that something is going to happen. It could equally be you get a new car, you know, and you've been waiting for it and you're planning for it, and the eclipse can eclipse out your old one and bring in a new one. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a negative manifestation, but because the energies are sort of intense, you need extra protection while you're being mobile in whatever way you're doing that. Now, if you want to understand more, like see a very detailed explanation of what I've seen come into fruition for these placements of the eclipses, I have a special video series, okay? So if you just search for Annie Botticelli, if you also go to my playlist page, there's an eclipse playlist. Okay, so every Pisces, look for my eclipse in Gemini and third house. And that will give you more details about how this eclipse may manifest for you. Those of you who are in the late degree area, like the March 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees, you also watch my video called Eclipses in Taurus or Second House, because that might also be part of your equation. Okay, so in summary, an action-packed month where we end the storylines that have been, all of 2020 between the retrogrades and this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction series. We crack open into the energies of Aquarius that are we're going to fully dive into in December, but we're really starting to feel them now. Many new things are coming. Stagnation is likely ending. More motivation is coming. Kisses from the Scorpio placements are coming. Like overwhelm and overstimulation from the Sag planets, that's all coming. But if you've been waiting for something to happen and been, chomping at the bit, this is definitely a month where you're very likely to start to see things moving forward in a big way. And for those of you who've been enjoying the relaxation, then just know that you're probably going to have to shift gears and be ready for some more action, because that is likely coming. If you want to have a more simple overview of the month, I do written horoscopes as well. You can go, and all of the links I'm about to give you for these other free resources are also in the notes below the video if you click on the More button. Okay, so if you go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, you'll see my written horoscopes as well as lifestyle blogs, including astrology kissed blogs like herbal teas for the different signs and yoga for the different signs, and it's just a beautiful site. If you want to have my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free and get a list of all the sweet dates and all the salty dates, and what the aspects are and what you can expect from them delivered into your inbox 1 month early, then sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com, where I also have a ton of blogs that can further support your astrological work. And if you would like to take free classes, I have some really great free classes, including one called Unleash Your Money Magnet at my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, which you can go to at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. You can also see my Professional Astrologer, Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course, which is one of my paid courses. And it is so comprehensive. If you think I go into details in these videos, it'll really blow your mind to see all of the many, many, many layers of education that you get. Even if you don't want to do astrology as a profession, just for your own personal development, you can see that at lumelife.com. It's coming time for my new book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, to be out in early December. You will actually be able to order it, not just pre-order it. You'll be able to have it delivered. If you've pre-ordered it, it will be on its way. And it's definitely a beautiful reference book that you will want to have and use over and over again to align your energies with the natural rhythms of the universe. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.